So welcome students to another session of advanced survey wherein we are in the fourth module studying regarding stereoscopy. Stereoscopy. Okay. So we have discussed regarding stereo pairs in the previous class. Today we will learn regarding stereoscopes. Okay. Can anyone recall the two types of stereoscopes that we were going to study? In the previous class, I had shown you, I have told you that two types of stereoscopes we will be studying. So yeah, can anyone remember the two types? Okay, so the two types we shall get into later.
Mirror stereoscopes and lens.
Very good, very good. So first was mirror stereoscope, and the second was lens stereoscope, right? Very good, very good. So you remember. Okay. So stereo pairs, as I've told you, they are two images of the same place with a certain distance apart, taken certain distance apart, right? So stereoscope is used to view stereo pairs. Okay, so the main two purposes, coming to main two purposes, to assist in presenting the eyes the images of a pair of photographs. So we have a pair of photographs, right? Pair meaning two. So we have a pair of photographs which will be viewing through this stereoscope, and it will help us to assist in viewing those stereoscopic photographs, right? And we will view a single image, right? What will happen is these two images will combine together in our mind, right? And what our brain will perceive is a single image, or like it will feel like it is having depth and it is a 3D image, right? So if you view these images through the stereoscope, you will see just a single image, not two images, right? So that it will help, this instrument will help us in that. Okay, then to magnify the perception of depth, right? The perception of depth will be magnified, where it will meaning it will be more, it will be increased, the perception of depth, and these stereoscopes will help us in these two purposes. Okay, so after this we shall get into a few other things. In the previous class I had shown you this VR, right? VR headset, that is virtual reality, this thing. So this is just an example of a lens stereoscope, right? Wherein your this mobile screen will be having two images like this, stereo pairs it will be showing to you, and those two images your mind will combine and you will see a 3D image, right? So that is a simple example of a stereo pair and stereoscopy. Okay, so we shall not get into this, but we shall learn regarding mirror stereoscope and lens stereoscope. Okay, so first we shall study regarding mirror stereoscope. Lens stereoscope is a very simple arrangement. Okay, so coming to mirror stereoscope, as the name suggests, okay, as the name suggests here, it is having a set of mirrors, and which will help us to view the stereo pairs. Okay, so coming to a diagram, let me show you. So this interesting kind of instrument you see here, looking like a crab, right? It is looking like a robot from the future, right? Having two eyes and four legs, right? But this is a simple instrument which is used to view your stereo pairs. Can anyone identify where the stereo pairs are placed? Stereo pairs, stereo pairs, stereo pairs. So they are over here. You can see this is one image and this is the second image. So these are the stereo pairs, or the two photographs of the same image, same ground, taken at a certain distance. Right. So these are stereo pairs which are placed under this stereo mirror stereoscope, and they are viewed from these lenses. Right. So from this lens, you have to view the stereo pairs, and what you will perceive is a single image, right? Not two images. Your brain will think that it is a single image, and you will perceive depth. Okay. So coming to a few other details. So here you can see this is a parallax bar which you see over here. We shall get into the details of this parallax bar later on. Okay, so you can see here we have one mirror you can see here, and this is also a mirror. Okay, mirror, the side which is facing downwards is having a glared side. Okay, so this is how the vision will be passing, line of sight. Okay, from here, if you view this line of sight will be deflected over here, and then it will be reflected over here on the image. So from this lens, you will see the left image, and from this lens, you will be able to see the right image, right? And these mirrors are usually at an angle of 45 degrees, okay, 45 degrees. So this particular mirror is usually fixed and not movable, right? And then this particular small mirror which you see here, small two mirrors over here are movable, okay? They can be moved at a certain angle so that you get a clear image and you have stereoscopic fusion. Okay, coming to a few other details. Okay, so this is just a 3D view or a photograph of a mirror stereoscope. Okay, and this particular instrument can be folded and can be carried in a box. Okay, this can be folded on. Okay, so this is another image showing you a mirror stereoscope. Okay, mirror stereoscope. Okay, so this line diagram will help you to understand how the line of sight is actually. Okay, so this is a top view. Sorry, this is a top view wherein you can see here these are your set of eyes, and this is the line of sight. Right, this is the first mirror, that is the small mirror which you had seen, and then your line of sight will be reflected over here. Okay, so it will be going this way, then it will be reflected 90 degrees, and then by this big mirror which you see here, it will be reflected again by 90 degrees. So this is the left image or the left stereogram, right, which you will be viewing from your left eye. Same from the right eye, because of the two mirrors, your line of sight will be reflected like this, and from the right eye you will be able to see the right image. Okay. From the left eye you will see one image, from the right eye you will see another image. So what your brain will think is these two images it will not see separately, it will combine these two images, okay, because your brain views stereoscopically. So these two images, which are stereo pairs, will be combined together in your mind by your brain, and you will be seeing a single image over here. You can see a virtual single image you will be seeing over here. You will feel that you are seeing just a single image, like a 3D view you will be able to see. Okay, so this is the virtual stereoscopic view that you will be seeing because your mind combines these two images and you will perceive a single image. Right? So this is the principle of your mirror stereoscope. Yeah, so I hope you have understood, and you can see here we have 4 mirrors totally. We have 4 mirrors. This is the first mirror, this is the second mirror, this is the third one, and this is the fourth one. So we have 2 photographs or one set of stereo pairs, that is this left and right, and we have 4 mirrors, right? And this is just a simple arrangement how your mirrors are made. So usually they are arranged at a 45 degrees so that your line of sight is deflected by 90 degrees, right? So this is 90 degrees, this is also almost 90 degrees. Okay, so this is the basic principle of a mirror stereoscope. Okay, I hope you have understood. If you have any doubts, you can ask. Okay, so one more image I have regarding the details. So if you have understood the basic principle, how it works, you will be able to understand that part easily. Okay, so if you have any doubts, you can ask now. You can type in chat or you can talk with me. A very simple, rigid and very interesting instrument, mirror stereoscope. Okay, coming to the principle of mirror stereoscope, we shall look into detail a schematic diagram of how exactly the line of sight of is and how it is working. Okay, coming to the first figure over here, figure number 4.14.47a. Okay, so this is a real life image wherein we have a piece of wood over here. You can see this is a piece of wood on which we have hammered a nail we have hammered. So this nail we have hammered on this piece of wood. Okay, so you can see this is the top of the nail, which is marked as capital A, top of the nail, head of the nail, which is marked as A, and this is the body, and this bottom part, this bottom point is marked as B. Okay, top or the head is A and the bottom is B. Okay, so if you take a photograph from the left side, if you take the photograph of this from the left side, right? So it will be visible like this. You can see here, this is the head of the nail, that is represented as small a, and this is the body, and this is the bottom part of the nail, which is represented by small b, right? So small a is the head and small b is the bottom part, which is over here. It passes through a lens over here. You can see lens L, okay, for the left image. Similarly, for the right side, it will be L dash, and the image will be formed in this manner. You can see head is formed over here, that is A dash, and the base or the bottom is here, it is B dash. Right. So A, B and A dash, B dash. So this is the first photograph or first negative, and this is the second photograph or second negative taken from the right side. Okay, left side and the right side, not exactly from the center. You take one photograph from the left side and one photograph from the right side. Okay, so this is the first figure, which is stereo pair of a nail. How you take exactly the photograph. Okay. Coming to the second image, you see over here, which is showing a mirror stereoscope. Once you take these photographs, that is -1 and -2, you place those prints over here, right? So that photograph is placed over here. You can see this is the first photograph or the left photograph, and the right photograph is placed over here. Okay, so print 1 and print 2. Usually, if you remember, yeah, we have earlier we used to take photographs in rolls, right? So we used to take the negatives, and then we used to develop those negatives and print those out, right? So this is the first photograph, the left hand side, and the second, that is print number 2 on the right hand side. Okay, so same thing. You can see here small a and small b, that is this is the image of the nail, and this is the image of the nail over here, A dash and B dash. Okay. Continuing. So you can see here, this is the magnifying lens over here, magnifying lens E, okay, capital E, and E dash on the right hand side. These are magnifying lenses. Okay, this is your retina or your eyeball, backside of your eyeball, retina, where your image is formed. Okay, inside your eye, wherein we have a retina. Okay, so this is your line of sight which you are viewing. Okay, line of sight. Here we have a small mirror which is named as M, small mirror. Okay. Similarly, on the other side, you have another mirror which is named as M dash, small M dash. Okay, so your line of sight will be deflected over here. You can see in this particular manner. It will fall on the larger mirror over here, which is named as capital M. Similarly, on the other side, we have a large mirror which is M dash. Okay, then it will again be deflected here, and this is the line of sight, right? So your A and B, A and B will be visible over here in your retina, right? So this is your left eye, right? So this will be seeing this particular print 1, and your right eye will be seeing this print 2, right? When you view through these stereo pairs from a mirror stereoscope. Okay, so once you view through this stereoscope and once you adjust properly and stereoscopic fusion is attained, right? Because what will happen is you have to adjust those two images, right? Your images which you place over here, you have to adjust them and you have to make them placed such a way that you see a 3D image, right? Those two images are combined in your mind. Properly, you have to adjust and place them below this mirror stereoscope. And once that is done, stereoscopic fusion is attained, meaning those two images are combined together and only single image can be seen. Right? So that is stereoscopic fusion, and once that is attained, you will feel that you are viewing only a single image, right? You can see here, this particular image over here, left thing, which you are seeing, you will be seen over here. Instead of two images, you will be seeing a single image, that is a single nail. Right, like this, you will be seeing the head of the nail, that is capital A, and this is the bottom, which is capital B. Right, you will be seeing a single image or a virtual image of this particular nail and the piece of wood. Right, so this is how the line of sight works and how the mirrors are placed. Okay, so as I've told you, capital M mirror is fixed, and the small mirror M can be adjusted by a small amount. Okay, it cannot be what you say, it cannot be moved by larger angle, but smaller adjustment can be done to this mirror, small m and small m dash. Okay, so magnification can be altered by this lens E and E dash. Okay, these are magnifying lenses. So depends on the magnification of this lens, you will be able to see an enlarged view. So this is the basic principle and the diagram which you need to draw in your exam if you have been asked to explain mirror stereoscope. Okay, so I hope these two images are clear and how the principle of mirror stereoscope or how the mirror stereoscope works. So if you have any doubts in the working or the principle of a mirror stereoscope, you can ask. So it is very easy, but the diagram seems to be complicated. Once you understand the things, it will be easy. Okay, so if you have no doubts, we shall move on to the second part of mirror stereoscope. Okay, so the line of sight, this is nothing but the line of sight for the left eye and for the right eye. That is, you can see here in the image, this is small b, okay, small b, then it will go like this, it will be capital M, it will get reflected over here, it will be small m, it will come over here, that is capital E, B, capital M, small m, capital E, that is written over here. This is the line of sight. Similarly for the other side, this is for the right hand side. All the letters are same, but you will be having this dash, okay, B dash, M dash, small m dash, and capital E dash. Okay, so this particular distance, this line of sight, this distance, okay, is around 30 centimeters to 45 centimeters, 30 to 45, so that an unaided eye may comfortably view the photographs. Right, so this can be adjusted, as I've told you, the line of sight can be adjusted by adjusting capital M and small m. Right, so we can move the legs to adjust capital M, and this angle can be adjusted by small m. So 30 to 45 centimeters is kept so that without any specialized equipment, you can easily view those two photographs. Okay, next coming to angle phi. Okay, let me show you that angle phi. It is over here, this particular angle. This angle is kept such that it gives most eye comfort without causing much strain to view the photographs. Right? So that angle is kept such that you can easily view the stereo pairs and you do not have too much strain, right, to view the photographs. So these are 2 points which you have to keep in mind. Okay. Now, what is the greatest advantage of this mirror stereoscope? The greatest single advantage of mirror stereoscope is the fact that the photographs can be completely separated for viewing. Right? So the two photographs which you have, they can be viewed separately also. If you want to work on those two photographs, you can do the work individually on each of the photographs. And if you want to combine them, right? The entire overlap area may be seen stereoscopically without having to slip the photographs, right? So you can work on them separately, and when you want to view them stereoscopically, right? When you want to view that stereoscopically, you don't have to combine these two images, right? You don't have to overlap these images like this. If you want to view, what we usually do, because we have overlap, right? I hope you recall what is meant by overlap. You don't have to combine like this those two photographs as per overlap, right? You don't have to combine, and you don't have to keep them like this to view. You can keep them like this separately. You can keep this separately and you can view them, right? No need of any overlap, right? So that is one advantage, wherein no overlap is required or no slip is required to view the stereo pairs, right? So that is one advantage, and one more advantage is that you can work on these two images separately also. Okay, so after this, we have completed mirror stereoscope. Okay, we have completed mirror stereoscope. If you have understood, we can move ahead with lens stereoscope. If you have any doubts in mirror stereoscope, you can ask. Okay, so if not, we shall get into lens stereoscope. Okay, you can raise your hand and let me know whether you have understood. I can check those who are listening and are active. You can raise your hand and you can let me know whether you have understood. And others, those who have not raised your hand, you can ask your doubts or what part you have not understood. Okay, fine. You can lower your hand. Others, those who have not raised your hand, can let me know what doubt you have. If not, I shall move on to the next part. Okay, I hope you are understanding the concepts. Okay, if you feel I'm going fast or you're not understanding, let me know. Okay. Coming to lens stereoscope, you can see this is a very simple instrument, very simple arrangement you can see in your image itself, right? Wherein you have two magnifying lenses. These are two lenses, right? You can see over here, and you place your stereo pairs below, and you just view through this lenses. Right? You just view through your lenses, and you will be able to see a 3D image. Right, so very simple working, very simple instrument, and no much parts are there, just two magnifying lenses. And you can see here we have adjustable this thing over here, so that you can adjust according to your eyes, right? You can increase or decrease the distance between these two lenses, so that you can easily view the stereo pairs. Right, so very easy instrument, very simple instrument, right? So one more image you can see over here. Sokia lens stereoscope. Right, you just place your stereo pairs over here, and you can view. Okay, so the working or the working diagram is seen over here. In the right hand side, you can see this is the retina wherein the image is formed. This is your eye. Okay, this is the lens of your eye, and this is the magnifying lens, which is this lens. Okay, so these are lens 1 and lens 2, or L and L dash. Okay, so this is similarly on the other side, you have your eye lens, that is E dash, and this is the retina where the image is formed. Okay, this is one photograph which you place over here, one photograph, and the second photograph, right, which is placed. Right. Similarly, the if you take a photograph or the of the image of the nail, right, of the nail, and if you view through this particular instrument, you will see a 3D image, that is a single image of the nail. This is the nail which you will be seeing, not two images. You will be seeing a 3D image of a nail, right? So this is a simple lens stereoscope wherein we have not much parts, and the working is also very simple. Right, so this is how the lens stereoscope works. If you have understood the mirror stereoscope, this is very easy to understand. Okay. Coming to a few other details regarding lens stereoscope. A lens stereoscope consists of a single magnifying lens, right? I have told you it consists of a magnifying lens and no mirrors. You can see in the image there are no mirrors in the lens stereoscope. You just have magnifying lenses. Okay, two magnifying lenses are mounted with a separation equal to the average interpupillary distance of human eyes, right? So these two magnifying lenses which you see on your screen, these two magnifying lenses are placed at a certain distance such that it is the distance of your eyes, right? So you can adjust that distance by using this mechanism over here, right? So that is one thing you have to explain if they ask you in the exam. Then, but provision is made for changing the separation to suit individual user, right? I've told you they have given us the provision to change the distance between the two lenses. Okay, that is just the parts how they work. Okay, a lens stereoscope is apt to cause eye strain, meaning lens stereoscope will cause your eye to strain. You will feel your eyes will start to pain, right, after you view for a longer time through this lens stereoscope, right? So it is not very eye friendly. You will start straining your eyes soon, because it is not easy to view through the lens stereoscope. Okay. Then next thing, this lens stereoscope, you can see compared to the mirror stereoscope, if you see, this is a very small instrument, right? Very smaller instrument, no mirrors are there, very light, right? Very light, and you can easily fold this particular mirror stereoscope and you can carry, right? So it is very portable type of instrument. Hence, it is also called as pocket stereoscope. Hence, it is also called as pocket stereoscope, right? So this is regarding your stereoscopes, right? Stereoscopes, and we have learned regarding lens stereoscope, and we have learned regarding mirror stereoscope. Both of these we have covered. So if you have not understood any of the working, or if you have any doubts, you can ask. mirror stereoscope and lens stereoscope. So we have many types of stereoscopes, but for your syllabus, we have only these two. As I've told you, VR headset is also a type of stereoscope. Right, so these two stereoscopes are used in surveying, right? Are used in surveying. Hence, we are studying only these two. Okay, so many digital versions are also coming nowadays, right? Everything is digital. So those are also there, but for your syllabus, only these two are present. Okay, so if there are no doubts, we shall move to the next topic. So I hope you remember what is meant by parallax. Parallax, right? Wherein the image seems to be moving, right? The image seems to be shifting positions when you view through different eyes, right? You have two set of eyes, right? And if you view from the left, if you close your right eye and you view the object from your left eye, and simultaneously, what if you do? If you switch your other to your other eye, you will feel that the object has shifted its position, even though if it has not, right? So that is called as parallax, the shift, the apparent shift in position of the image, right? Of the image of the object, right? Even though it has not moved, because you have because you have stereoscopic vision, right? That is called as parallax, right? If you hold your finger, right? If you stretch your arm and if you hold your finger apart straight, right? If you view from left eye and if you view the same finger from your right eye, you will feel that your finger has shifted position, right? Even though it has not. So this distance, this move or the shift in the image of the object, right? It is called as parallax. Okay, so in stereoscopic vision, usually this parallax occur, right? When you have two set of photographs or when you view the same object through two different lenses, this stereoscopic parallax occurs, right? So whenever you take a single photograph from a single lens, there will be no parallax, right? So that you have to keep in mind. So coming to regarding parallax regarding surveying, right? Coming to parallax regarding surveying, wherein what we do usually deal with vertical photographs. So you can see here, this is one exposure station. This is one exposure station, or wherein we have taken one vertical photograph, right? So this is one vertical photograph, and then this is the second exposure station, and this is the second vertical photograph. Okay. Then this is the terrain which we are going to photograph. This is the part of image, right? This is the area which we have covered in the photograph. Okay. You can see two points marked on the ground. This is point A, capital A, and this is point B. So the elevation of these 2 points are different. They are not level. Right? So the elevation is capital small h A, and this is HB. Okay, they are at a different elevation from a reference plane or a reference datum line. They are at a different elevation. Okay, so this particular point A on the photograph will be here marked as A1, and this particular point B on the photograph will be here, that is point B1. Similarly, once you take a photograph of these 2 points from here, you will see these point will be here A2 and this will be B2. Okay, so these are called stereo pairs, right? These two photographs are stereo pairs, and there will be certain difference in the location of A and B, right, on the image. So that the difference in the location is nothing but parallax. So we shall get into the details. So this is just a general image showing parallax, how parallax usually occurs, right? So this is one exposure station, and then your flight continues like this, and it takes the second photo. So these are stereo pairs. Okay. So what is a parallax? Coming to the definition, parallax of a point, right? Any point of any point, if you consider the parallax of that particular point is the displacement of the image. Okay, the point on the ground is not moving. This particular point on the ground does not move, but the image of that point, right? This particular image A1 and A2, the image moves, right? The displacement of the image of the point on two successive exposures, very important, successive, right? Not any random distance and random images, right? They have to be successive or they have to be adjacent images, right? So the shift or the displacement of that particular image is called the parallax. So difference, now what we are going to do, we are going to consider two different points, right? We have this point capital A and this particular point capital B, right? And the parallax of this point A parallax, we shall name it as PA, parallax of this particular point A, and parallax of this point B we shall consider as PB. Okay, so if you try measure this PA and PB, if you calculate this parallax, right, they'll be different, they'll be not same. These two values will not be the same, they'll be different, right? So the difference in these two values is called the difference in parallax, right? So this difference in parallax usually occurs because they are at a different elevation. You can see here they are having different elevations, right? Because of this difference in elevation, you will see that they also have a difference in parallax. These PA and PV will not be equal to each other. The value will be different. Okay, so this is the difference in parallax, and we shall now look into a detailed image showing difference in parallax. Okay, so if you have understood the concept of parallax, we shall get into the concept of difference in parallax. Difference in parallax. Okay, so this is the exposure station, first exposure station O. Okay, O, and this is your second exposure station, or where you have taken the photograph. The distance between these two, right? It is called as base. It is called the base distance, capital B. Okay, and this is your flight direction, which you see over here, flight direction. Okay, moving from left to your right. Left to right is the flight direction. Okay, here if you take a photograph, this is over here, you can see this is your left photograph. And similarly, we have a right photograph. Okay, these two are vertical photographs. You can see both of these are vertical photographs, not tilted like this. They are not tilted or not oblique. They are vertical photographs. Okay. And we have a certain point on the ground marked, right? This is point A on the ground, and this is point B on the ground. You can see they are certain elevation apart. They are not having the same elevation. They are elevated differently. Okay. So principal point of this image, K is transferred on the ground. You can see it is capital K. Similarly, principal point of this particular photograph, K dash, and transferred on the ground, it will be capital K dash. Okay, then you can see the image of this particular point A, image of this point A on the photograph will be here, marked as small a. Similarly, image of the point B on the photograph here will be point B, small b. Okay, all the notations on the photograph will be in small letters. Okay, similarly on the right hand photograph, you can see it is A dash and B dash. A dash and B dash. K and K dash are what? They are called as principal points. Okay, I hope you remember these are called as principal points. Okay, so this is regarding the flight plan and how the photographs are taken and how those images are formed. Okay, coming to one more view. What we will do is this particular image, right? This particular image I have zoomed in. I will zoom into this particular image and I will show you now. Okay, you can see here that particular part I have zoomed in over here. Same image, just I have zoomed in. Okay, on the upper side you can see this is the photograph, right? This particular right photograph you can see here, this will be visible like this, right? And this particular left photograph will be visible like this. Okay, coming to the right photograph first. Come to the right photograph first, because left hand side is a bit confusing. We shall understand right photograph first and then go to the left hand side. Okay, so principal point K dash over here, this particular K dash is here. Okay, you can see it is over here, principal point or the center of the photograph. Okay, so this particular thing we will call as y coordinate plus y coordinate, and this is your x coordinate or x axis, y axis and x axis. Okay, one more important thing. Now, this is your principal point K dash of the right photograph. Similarly, you have principal point small k on the left photograph. This is over here. Left photograph, principal point. This what we will do is transfer on the right photograph. We have transferred the principal point of the left photograph on the right photograph. So this will be marked over here. Marked over, because if you remember in overlaps what we do, we cover the principal point of the previous photograph. right? So while taking the right photograph, we have taken the photograph of the principal point also of the previous area, right? So that particular point we have transferred here, and this is called the conjugate principal point. Conjugate principal point. Okay. Then coming to the next thing. Okay. So this is your photograph. Here you can see, and this is the image, right? A dash and B dash image of the point A and B on the photograph. This I have just shown here. It will be visible over here like this. Okay, A dash, and similarly B dash will be here. B dash. Okay, so the distance of this point from the y-axis, I will name it as xa dash and xb dash, xa dash and xb dash, distance from the y-axis. Okay, so here you can see, because they are towards the left hand side, okay, because they are towards the left hand side, if you consider this as the origin, right, here you consider x as positive and here you consider x as negative, right? So this will be minus xa dash and minus xb dash, but those negative signs we will consider while solving, okay, not in the derivation. We shall only consider those negative signs in the solving part. Okay, so remember this thing. Okay, similarly it will be here plus y and here below it will be minus y. Okay, so keep these notations in mind, these signs in mind. Okay, same as you have used in geometry, same notations, no change. Okay. So xi dash and xp dash, I hope you have understood. Then similarly on the right, on the left image, can you tell me what point is this? This point is what I have to name over here? This point and this point. What do I have to name? What is this point? It is A, B, K. What is the point? Try to answer. Answer is already on your screen. To just interpret. Is it A, is it B, or is it K? Or is it A dash or B dash? Try to answer quickly so that I can leave you early. This is plus y and this is plus x. Same coordinate, okay? Same as in the right coordinates. Same coordinates are here. This is the origin. Or this is the point K. Principal point K. Okay. Similarly, this principal point K dash is transferred over here. So this will be K dash, or the conjugate principal point. One more important concept here. If you join these points, right? If you join them and you keep them in a straight line, this will be nothing but your flight line. This will be nothing but your flight line. Okay, if you join these two lines, K dash you join, these two lines you join, these 2 points you join like this, and you keep them in a straight line. You keep those two lines such that they are in a straight line. So this will form your flight line. Important concept. Then coming to the points, try to answer which is this point, what is this point, is it A, is it B, or any other point? Try to interact or else you will also get bored. Point, I need the name of these 2 points. Is it A or is it B, or is it A dash or B dash? See here, you have the answer on your screen itself. No answer or not interested to answer, I don't know. So if you don't interact, it will get boring. Classes will get boring. It will be just like recorded sessions. What is the use of taking live class? I can just record and send you the videos, right, on the YouTube, if there is no interaction needed. Okay, so I'll just go through the derivation and finish it off quickly. So this is A, this is B, this will be XB, this will be XA. Okay, this will be point K and this will be point K dash. This particular plus point which is here, K dash, and this is K. Principal point, conjugate principal point. Okay. Next, now if you have understood these two images, what we have to do is we have to overlap these two images, right? What we do is we combine these two images. We place them one on top of each other. We place them on top of each other, right? So once you do that, if you combine these two images, right? If you place this image on the top of this one, right? If you place it like this, properly on the top of each other, right? If placed like this, these two notations, all these notations will be combined, all these things will be combined, right? You can see here, after you combine, right, this particular point K and K dash will be merging together, K and K dash will merge together. You will be having XA, this is XA, this is XB from the left photograph, XA dash and XB dash is from the right hand photograph, right? So once you combine these two images, you will be having A over here, right? From the left photograph, this is A and this is B from the left photograph, right? Here you can see this is from the left photograph, A and B, which are on the right hand side of Y axis, right? A and B are on the right hand side, right? You can see here A and B are on the right hand side of Y axis. Similarly, A dash and B dash are on the left hand side of the Y axis, right? So the difference between these two, the distance between these two here, the distance here, you can see here, they have marked it as 6.05 centimeters, just an example, okay? So this is nothing but the parallax at point A, parallax of point A. Okay, and then this is what this point, the distance between these 2 points, B dash and B, the distance between these two, you can see here, just an example, it is 7.25 centimeters. So this distance is parallax of point B. So you can compare over here, you can see that the parallax of A is not equal to parallax of B, right? It is not equal. You can see it is 6.05 and 7.25. So the difference you can see, so the difference between these two parallax is called as the difference in parallax of 2 points, difference in parallax between 2 points. So as I've told you, this difference is usually occurring because of the difference in elevation. Okay, so as I've told you, you can see here, this is PA and then this is PB. Make sure you keep signs properly, positive and negative, you have to maintain over here while substituting. Okay, then after this is done, right, this particular topic is done. Now, if you want to have proper stereoscopic view, okay, not for parallax, not for anything, we are out of those topic. Now, general, we are talking about aerial stereoscopic views. If you want proper photograph, a proper aerial stereoscopic view of the ground surface, what we need to do, what we need to take care of, right? So the two photographs are taken with sufficient overlap. So sufficient overlap is always required. So that is one ideal condition. Then second condition is the elevation of the camera position remains same for the two exposures, meaning the flying height, the flight height or the height of the aeroplane or the aircraft is to be same for both the photographs. Right? Elevation of the camera position remains same for the two exposures. That is one ideal condition that you have to maintain. Then third important criteria is the camera axis is vertical, so that the picture plane lies in the same horizontal plane. That is, you have to keep vertical photographs, right? You have to take vertical photographs and not tilted photographs, right? The camera axis, that is this particular O and K, right? This principal point here, you have K dash. Sorry, small k, you have small k and capital K on the ground. This has to be properly vertical. Right? So you have to maintain this properly vertical so that the photograph or the photograph taken of the ground is properly 90 degrees or it is perpendicular, right? So these three criteria you have to maintain to get proper stereoscopic views or proper stereoscopic photos. Okay, so this is regarding stereoscope and stereoscopic views. So we have learned regarding stereoscopy, stereo pairs, stereo pairs we have learned, stereoscopes we have learned, mirror stereoscope, lens stereoscope, and also we have learned regarding parallax, right? Parallax or the difference in parallax today. So these all these topics we have covered today in 1 hour. Okay. So if you have any doubts in any of the topics that we have covered until now, right, you can ask. We have time. So very interesting concept, right? Stereoscopy is very interesting and nice inclusion in your syllabus. Previously, it was not there, but now since 2015, it has been included. Very nice chapter. Okay. So any doubt, you can ask. If you have any doubt, you can ask. Meanwhile, you can give your attendance also. So I hope you are understanding the concepts. I hope I'm not going fast. I hope the images which I'm showing are helpful. So if it was an offline class, I couldn't be able to show you those images, but that is one advantage over here. I can show you different images of the instruments so that you understand better. Okay, so if you have no doubts and you have given your attendance, you can exit the session.